Hello, my name is George Poirier, and now we're going to be doing part two of smartphone wearable and take a look and see what some of the technology is about and some of the choices that you have. This is a continuation of a set of productions by Lifestyle University from Cal-Am. The agenda for this session includes the technology that goes behind some of these devices. They're sort of amazing. Then we'll talk about the health app, which is the guy for Apple. We'll also talk about some health watch, smartwatch choices. And so if you're looking at getting one and you're curious to see what's available, this is the guy to look for. We'll talk about some health apps that are available to supplement the ones that come with the phone and with the watch. And then finally, we'll talk about some health gadgets. There are some health gadgets that, in fact, supplement your health environment as well. Here's a list of some of the technologies that go into one of these smartwatches. They include the GPS. That's for cases of 911 calls so that they can locate your position. A compass to help you get around. A barometric altimeter, again, that helps people identify where you are, and you, as a matter of fact, help you identify where you are. Water resistance, electrical heart sensor, that's been around for a bit. And the international emergency calling, that's capability of the Apple Watch under certain circumstances. The accelerometer, and that is to help you help the watch determine a fall, as is the G-force capabilities. And finally, there's gyroscopes to help identify movement. And last but not least in this list is ambient light sensors. And of course, there's others as well. I'm certainly not going to go through this chart, but I am putting it up here just to be able to show you some of the amazing technology that goes into these devices. It is really unbelievable what these guys can do. Here's a list of the Apple Watch choices that you have now. That has gone from one watch essentially all the way through to the list you see there. That includes the Apple Watch 3, which was been around several years now. Apple Watch 4, you will see, is not on the list. That was discontinued. And Apple Watch 5 still there. Apple Watch 6 is there, of course. But they've also introduced one that's more for the family, so they can get some. You can get an Apple Watch for your child and not have the same kind of expense. So you have a series of lists and a series of technologies that are available in these various watches. These health watches are first and foremost fitness watches. And this allows them to track information so that you can ensure that from day to day you are doing whatever you need to do to stay in shape. Things like steps, or in this case, what you see are the 3 rings that Apple uses to help track your fitness. One of those trips is one of the things is just standing. That's the blue guy. One of them is calories burned. That's the red guy. And the yellow guy is exercise time. So if you're out for a walk or a run or something of that nature, it is in fact keeping track of those pieces of information. And this is implemented different ways for different watches. The goals for these 3 exercise points are usually adjustable depending on what your level of fitness is and what your level of fitness is desired. And so that's what this is for, is to identify what your goal is and how close you are to your goal, and also will allow you to go in and change your goal to be more practical for your purposes. There are, in fact, several apps that are available for your watch in order to measure various aspects of your health. Like, for instance, this one is to keep track of listening or sound background, so that if it gets too loud in a certain situation, it will let you know and keep history of that, so that if in fact you should be doing something about it, like getting out of there, getting earplugs, or whatever the situation may be, this allows you to track that. If you need to do an ECG, that is available as an app. If you need to measure your O2 level, that too is measurable with an app. So there are a variety of apps to help you measure different aspects of your health. Fall detection is a key feature that is built into many of these watches. In the case of the Apple, there's two types of fall detection. One is for regular fall, another is for a hard fall. The regular fall is something that gets automatically turned on at 65. Prior to that, it makes an assumption that if you fall, you might be participating in some kind of activity that induces a fall, or it's not quite as dangerous to you. You could, in fact, turn that on, however, if there are other circumstances that make falling some kind of risk. In the case of the hard fall, that's on all the time. In both cases, lives have been saved. There's countless stories of how fall detection has, in fact, saved lives. There's a couple of times that I've induced fall detection, one of which I probably would have called 911 had my wife not been available. There's a health app that's available on the phone that keeps track of all of your information about your health statistics. Things like your heart rate, things like your blood pressure, glucose level, sleeping, how many steps you've taken, etc., etc. And so this is a go-to location to find out how things have been going. AFib incidents are recorded in here as well. So anyway, it's the health app is the guy to go to look at to get a really good quick look at some of the key data about your physical well-being. The health app has the ability to accumulate data from other devices as well. Like, for instance, you can get scales that are USB connected or Wi-Fi connected that will record your weight, and it'll go to the health app. As a glucose meter has that ability too, as does blood pressure cuff, etc., etc. There are several devices out there that can in fact accumulate data, health data, and that data can in fact be stored in this health app. So that can be another good source. So when you want to talk to your doctor, you've got that information well at hand. The health app is also the location for storing key information about you as a person. That is, it can store things like your general health, your allergies, the meds you might be on, and the first responder can in fact get access to that information as soon as they arrive on the scene. So that also presented a bit of a privacy issue, because once you're aware of how they do that, then in fact anybody that with an iPhone can in fact without an iPhone, can in fact get at your data. And you may not want that to happen. So they have recently come up with a way to not only uh, uh, be able to store that information, but then you can optionally send that information when a 911 call is made. So that eliminates the need for having to get into your phone, and so you can keep it locked. Because of all the information that is scanned by the watch, there are other apps that are available to supplement the data that is available through the health app. And one of those that I use extensively is HeartWatch, and that keeps track of your various heart information over the course of the day. So that any time you can go back and take a look and see how your heart rate has been over the course of the day through exercises, etc. As a matter of fact, it's even smart enough that it isolates exercise as a separate entity, so that in fact it doesn't skew your results. So when you look at the results, you know that they are what your average heart rate is, without the fact that you just went for a run. It's a pretty clever app, and I use it extensively. The Health app also has a capability to talk to your medical portal. So, for instance, if you're with Centura Health, for instance, I can in fact log into Centura Health with your credentials, which you give them, and then it will in fact get your medical records and download those and store them in the health app. That provides you the ability to have those records with you when you go places. And there are a variety of different sources that will be used to do that. Here we have a series of slides that are just designed to show you some of the options that you have available to you. They vary in sizes and shapes and abilities, but I've focused on the smartwatch because that's what this presentation has primarily been focused on. And the Apple Watch. And the Apple Watch SE, that's a new one that in fact is aimed at the youth, okay? If you've got kids in the family, you don't want to invest a high-end Apple Watch for your kids, then in fact the SE is one to take a look at. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the big one does, but then again, you don't need some of those bells and whistles for the kids that are going to be using the watch. And we've got everything from the smartphone. The Samsung has come along now with 3, and they have 4 that is imminent as well, which has some new capabilities, some follow-on capabilities for Apple Watch 7, for instance, and for the new Samsung is going to be the ability to pick up glucose, which is a heck of an improvement. Some other apps that are available that supplement the health app are things like Google Fit, which is very much like the health app itself. And Map My Fitness is an app that is used that I use extensively when I go for walks or rides. It can even map treadmill walks if you are so inclined. Quartio is a company that makes devices. Okay, we'll talk about the devices in a few moments, but that can measure blood pressure and put it into the health app, etc. One Touch is a tool that is used by diabetics to record glucose. Okay, and that in fact has a Bluetooth connection so that it too can put stuff directly into the health app. Heart Watch we've talked about. That is the one that I use fairly extensively to find out how things have gone during the course of the day with my heart rate. My Fitness Pal, if you really want to get serious about tracking your carbs and tracking your food intake, My Fitness Pal is an excellent tool to do that. Sleepwatch is another similar to the Heart Watch, but this one tracks sleep. And so it breaks it down into a whole bunch of components, and you can see how you've done. Some of the health gadgets include things like Cardia 2 lead, Cardia 6 lead, which are devices that are external to the phone, therefore can run on any kind of a phone, and are used to keep track of EKGs. Additionally, we've got from the Cardia folks, we've got the blood pressure cuff. It also includes the ability to have scales, which are in fact internet connected. Okay, so that if what it can do is when you step on the scale, it will actually record your weight onto your phone, and so you've got all those records when you go to the doctor and want to share that information with them. Well, thank you so much for joining me in the discussion about the smartphone and the wearable phase 2. I hope you got enough information out of this in order to make some intelligent decisions and possibly even get a device that can, in fact, save your lives. Thank you again.